The Redmi Note 14 4G comes with some noticeable changes, some you like and others you might not really like. We have the MediaTek Helio G99 powering the phone, replacing the Snapdragon 685 we had on the Redmi Note 13 of last year. It's kind of an upgrade. Let's talk about everything you need to know about the phone. Right inside the box, you're getting the phone, a silicon TPU case, a 33 watts charging brick, a USB-C cable, some paper documentation, and a SIM ejector tool. Pretty much all you need to get started using the phone immediately. I paid 255,000 naira to get this phone, but I think the official retail price will be around 250,000 naira. For those watching outside Nigeria, it's around $200 and you can convert that into your local currency to get the price in your region. I have the base model with 128 gig storage space and 6 gigs RAM, but there are other versions with up to 256 gig storage space available. The storage type on this phone is UFS 2.2 and the RAM type is LPDDR4X. It's quite fast. You also need to know that this is the Redmi Note 14 4G global version. There is a Chinese version of this phone with much better specs. The price and specs on the phone makes it a close competitor with the likes of the Samsung Galaxy A16 4G, and I'm thinking of making a comparison video between the two. Let me also know which other phones we should consider comparing with the Redmi Note 14 4G in the comment section. And this year, we are on a mission to hit 100,000 subscribers by December. So it will mean a lot if you kindly subscribe to the channel and stay tuned because we have a lot of content coming your way. The design of the Redmi Note 14 4G is different from that of the Redmi Note 13, which is a good thing, but it's similar to the design we had on the Redmi Note 12. I honestly don't know how I feel about this. I'm okay with the design because it's a bit more polished with the Redmi Note 14. We have a matte finish at the back and the frame of the phone is also made out of plastic, as expected on a $200 phone. Because of the finish, it's kind of difficult for stains to remain at the back of the phone. Xiaomi also kept the IP54 water splash and dust resistance rating that we had on the Redmi Note 13. It's available on this one too. We have 3 cameras at the back with a flashlight, and we'll talk more about cameras before the end of this video. There are 4 color options and I have the ocean blue colorway. It shines depending on how the lights hit it. You get a headphone port and IR blaster at the top with the SIM card holder and charging ports at the bottom. The phone supports 2 4G SIM cards, but if you want to use a memory card, you can only use one SIM card. We have stereo speakers and it also has Dolby Atmos. Here is how it sounds. The back of the phone is flat with curved side, making it comfortable to hold in the hand. The build quality is solid and there isn't any creaking or flexing on any part of this phone. We have an under display fingerprint scanner on the phone and it's quite fast. You can also use face unlock to open the phone, but the fingerprint scanner is the safest method. Now that we have flipped the phone, let's talk about the display. We have a 6.67-inch AMOLED display with a 120Hz refresh rate and 1080p resolution. Peak brightness is around 1800 nits and that's the same specs we had on the Redmi Note 13. The major improvement here is the fact that you are getting a Gorilla Glass 5 on this phone instead of the Gorilla Glass 3 that we had on the Redmi Note 13. One thing that also surprised me is the much more noticeable bezels on the device. The bezels on the Redmi Note 13 are a bit smaller than this one, maybe by 3 millimeters or something. I don't really know the actual figures. I honestly don't know how this makes me feel again because I feel the bezels should just keep on getting smaller year by year. You also now get the always on display, which wasn't available on the Redmi Note 13. The display on the Note 14 also works even when it's wet and greasy, something the Note 14 Pro 4G doesn't have. By the way, I also have a comparison video between the Redmi Note 14 Pro 4G and this phone, so kindly subscribe to the channel if you want to see that video. Colors are sharp and vivid and streaming videos or gaming on the display is enjoyable. The display is really bright outdoors and you won't struggle to see it even when there is massive sunlight out there. It is responsive to touch and you won't have any issues using the display. There is no significant upgrade on the display, just a couple of important changes like the much more durable glass. Last year, the Redmi Note 13 was one of the only affordable phones with a Snapdragon processor. On the Redmi Note 14 4G, we have the MediaTek Helio G99 Ultra, a slight upgrade over the Snapdragon 685. This is the same processor that is available on most of the competing phones like the Galaxy A16 4G. And performance has been generally smooth on this phone. Since I started using it, I've been using it for like 4 days now. I haven't really seen any lag or delay when I'm trying to play a game or maybe load an app. General usage has been very okay, and I also play some games efficiently with the phone. Call of Duty Mobile has been smooth, but if you play for a while, it gets kind of laggy. Performance is okay for the price, and it's even close to the Redmi Note 14 Pro 4G that is powered by the MediaTek Helio G100. Now, the phone is running on Android 14, and HyperOS 1 is the user interface. The phone is packed with a lot of software features, and we also have a few AI features, which is nice to see. The pre-installed apps and pop-up notifications are still here. You also get ads on some parts of the interface. What you can't take away from the software though is the fact that it is heavily customizable. You can change everything, including the font and app icon colors. I'm sure there will be some software updates like 2 or 3 years, but at the time of making this video, it wasn't quite clear from Xiaomi how many software updates the Redmi Note 14 4G is going to get. For AI, we have AI Erase, and I feel that's one of the most important AI features needed on a phone in 2025. And for them to make it available on this phone is quite welcoming. This feature lets you remove like objects or even people in photos. We have AI Sky that lets you change the sky in an image. And I think those are the two most useful AI features on this phone. But there's also Google's Gemini, and if you know how to use it, it can really be a game changer. It's a large language module that can be used to generate text and even pictures. You can even snap pictures and ask Gemini questions about it. Gemini is just fun to use and play around with. And if you're someone who's into AI, then I feel you're going to get a lot of value from Gemini. We have a 5500 milliampere battery on the Redmi Note 14 4G, and it's a slight upgrade from the Redmi Note 13 4G that had 5000 milliampere. The charging speed still remains the same 33 watts, and it takes slightly over an hour to charge the phone from 0 to 100. You get a complete day of battery life and more on a single charge. I am glad they increased the battery life and still maintained the same charging speed. Xiaomi maintained the same 108 megapixel primary camera from the Redmi Note 13, but they swapped out the 8 megapixel ultra wide lens for a 2 megapixel depth lens and left the 2 megapixel macro lens on the phone. I wish they left the ultra wide lens because it was useful to me when I tested the Redmi Note 13 last year. You also get a 20 megapixel selfie camera, which is an upgrade from last year's 16 megapixel. You get decent pictures from the Redmi Note 14's main camera with enough details and accurate colors. Sometimes the image processing tends to add a bit of brightness to every picture, and it can be a hit or miss. There is Pro mode in the camera app, and the selfie isn't as good as the main camera. I wish it was a little bit better. Night mode is also quite okay for the price, but the biggest surprise is that it can't shoot more than 1080p 60 fps with the front camera and 1080p 30 fps with the selfie camera. I feel this shouldn't even be an issue. We should at least be able to shoot 2K because most of the competing phones have 2K resolution. There is no image stabilization except when shooting time lapse or using the Pro mode. What do you think about the camera and the quality of the pictures that you've seen? Let us know in the comment section. Now, for the price, I feel it's an okay phone all round. The software is my major issue with the phone, but every other aspect feels okay. The phone has been refined a bit in terms of design and how it feels in the hand. And around its price range, I feel it's up there and can compete with any other device. What else would you like to know about the phone? Feel free to let me know in the comment section. I'm going to answer all your questions, and I'll see you in my next video.